Day 2 was a very long day for anyone who's been following this trial. There was so much repetitive videos and audio that we've already heard, and I really debated whether I was going to make a video just summarizing today. But I did some research, and I think that there's at least one really interesting thing, and that is about who texted Sarah telling her to do something with herself. That was pretty shocking. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. We're going to summarize first. So first up was a medical pathologist who definitely had her act together. She knew all the answers, could really detail it out. It wasn't her first time by any means being in a courtroom. And I noticed just with the bit that we can see Sarah, because we could only really see the back of her head and maybe part of her face, but she, the whole time in the beginning, was fidgeting. Whether that was trying to open her bottle of water, looking down, she just seemed extremely uncomfortable. And I would like to think it's because it's a sad and upsetting topic and, feelings about it in general. But as I've said before, and if you've followed me for a long time, Sarah doesn't have feelings in any of this. And it just is that much more apparent having her watch the videos and listen to the audio in the courtroom, and she is just stone-faced. Nothing. I actually thought that she would try to act it up because she has a jury there, her life is on the line. I thought that if she was going to do something, it would be now. And she still had no emotion, nothing. So the state is continuing to set it up about the staircase, and now they have pulled in the baseball bat. There evidently near him was a baseball bat, and they are trying to link some of his injuries with that bat. I'm not sure if it really made that connection, but I guess any little seed in the jury's minds would be helpful for them. I'm probably not going to say her name right, but Janella Vaden was called up to the witness stand, and she was the person who extracted information off of Sarah's phone. Now, like I said, we have seen most of this footage and audio. We have talked about it a lot. It's all very upsetting to watch and listen to. It doesn't get ever easier. It's really sad and upsetting every single time listening to it. One thing she did get off the phone is something that I haven't seen before, and so maybe there's others that have not, but that was her text exchange that she was having with someone else. To Sarah, it says, "Please do something with yourself, Sarah, and God bless." Sarah says, "And bless you too, and that she'll get rid of him." So I got curious, and I decided that I was gonna look up the phone number because they showed it, which is probably a little bit invasive. I'm not trying to put this person on blast, so I might not give out everything I saw, but the internet is a thing and everybody has Google, so I can't stop anybody from doing the same thing that I did. But what was interesting is that is a family member of George's. I don't know how they're related, but I did see that she lives in Georgia. One of the first things that pulled up for her for my search was that she had been arrested for drinking and driving. And I just thought it was interesting that one of his family members reached out when we know that the immediate family did not like Sarah at all. I don't think that she was one of his sisters. So I don't know if she's a cousin. I'm not sure. I might do more research, but not tonight. I'm pretty brain fried after watching that interrogation again. I think that's probably my 6th time sitting through the entire thing, and it's a lot and it's draining. And I'm sure the jury was ready to go home, so it was a good place to end. So to go back over just a little bit of the things that I have already said, but if you're new to the channel, then this is your first time hearing it. As I said, Sarah has no emotions. Watch all of the videos. There's nothing. The day that it happened and the police went to her apartment, the only thing she cared about was what's going to happen to her. And it was said again in the interrogation, but that's been her stance the whole time, and it's so frustrating. And that is not coming from a place of caring, sad, just all the normal feelings. And whether it was an accident or not, you could still be devastated. She said she loved him. She asked about getting his engagement ring back and was upset that it wasn't going to be coming back to her. I mean, she's just focused on all the wrong things. And so even if this was 100% an accident, everything looks horrible. I mean, just her attitude about it all. It's just so unbecoming. And she chose the roll of dice with the jury in hopes that they'll side with her. And it is so bad for her. Like I said, even if they did somehow believe she really didn't mean to do that, she takes no responsibility and has no remorse from day one. Something in the interrogation that was said that really bothers me every single time I hear it is, and I quote, "I love him to this day." She's going on and on that she cares for him and she still loves him till this day. That was 2 days later. It was 2 days after Jorge passed. And she's over there acting like it had been years. And I still love him to this day. I can't imagine sitting there being a juror and listening to this. It's just ridiculous. And I'm sure it's getting harder and harder for me. And I'm just building up my anger on it, hearing it for like the 20th time. But it's so annoying. And it's not normal. And, yeah, she's narcissistic, but what else is she? Because there has to be like a slew of things that are wrong with her. So then towards the end of the interrogation, I think she's trying really hard to get sympathy from the detectives, especially the male. I feel like she's kind of leaning towards him for support, and he was just not having it. He was very aware that she was going to prison soon, so he's just trying to bide his time and not say too much. But she kept repeating at the end of, this situation happened and I'll have to live with it forever and that's punishment enough. And it's like, what? No. No, you're going to be held accountable. You don't get to just move forward and not have anything happen to you. And it's not punishment enough because you didn't care the day it happened. You didn't care 2 days later. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So day 3 is continuing tomorrow, and as they wrapped up the end after the jury left, we now know that the state will finish questioning the detective, and then it is the defense's turn to start calling witnesses. And I'm super interested in hearing who one specific one was, because they were talking about it a lot, that someone lives far away. They wanted to get them to go on a Zoom call. The state would not agree to that. Her lawyer did not look happy about that, but it is the rules. And under the law, if they don't agree with it, they can't do it. So they exercise their right perfectly fine. But I can't imagine who that's going to be. Is it somebody in Georgia's family? Could one of her extended family members that she hasn't had contact with decide to step up and vouch for her? I have no idea. I am very interested to see what happens. And I believe the one brother that's not in prison, I think he lives nearby in Florida. So I don't think it's him. We will find out. And hopefully we find out early tomorrow. Very curious. So yeah, that basically summarizes how today went. If you want more of my videos where I go into deeper thoughts and feelings on it all, and if you haven't been here, go look in my Sarah Boone playlist. There's a ton of them. I've been talking about this for so long, which is nice though, because it's now happening and there will finally be a resolution to this situation. One last thing. I am in talks with several people who are attending the trial, and I am putting together, if I get enough information, on the jury and the reaction. Obviously, there won't be pictures or names, but I think it's really interesting to know when and why a jury member reacted. And so far I have that for day 1. So I think if I get more information for a couple more days, I'll do a video on that and to talk about what we think might be affecting them. Because most of the jury was hand selected because they hadn't seen anything or barely knew anything. So it's their first time witnessing everything. So super interesting. So stay tuned.